Can I just assume my hive has mites and just treat without testing for mites? Hey everybody, David Burns. I have a ton of questions we're going to be attacking today. And all of these questions I know are going to help you because I'm going to give the answers to these questions that are most commonly asked by beekeepers, experienced beekeepers and new beekeepers. Let's jump right into it. Thanks for joining me today. Tom says, how much should I worry about having a pool with hives? Should I keep them some distance between them? We live in the country, have 5 acres. Good question, Tom. A lot of beekeepers worry about their bees getting into their neighbor's swimming pool. And so that is a concern. What the bees are doing is trying to get on the edge of the pool. They don't swim well, but where water gets splashed up around the pool, the bees will go there. This is really bad if the neighbors are using a saltwater pool. More and more people are doing that, and bees love that salt water. And yeah, the best way to deal with that is provide a water source on your property so that your bees can gain access to water on your property and not go to the neighbors. So just consider using a bird bath, put some sticks, pebbles, stones in there so your bees won't drown. You may want to bait it with a little sugar, tiny bit of sugar in the beginning in the spring. Get your bees on it. You don't have to keep putting sugar on it, but they'll get attracted to the sugar. Then they'll know that's a water source. So the bees are typically going to be getting a lot of nectar naturally in the spring, but they still do need water. All right, when you feed a new package with 1-to-1 sugar water, should you reduce the flow the bees take in from the feeder? When using a bucket feeder, is it better with a screen or a tent peg, a plug with fewer holes? Yeah, I know what you're asking there. I wouldn't worry about overfeeding your bees by reducing the flow in the spring with a package. Let them eat all they want to. And so bees are going to go out into the wildflowers, getting the nectar out of nectaries in the spring. They're going to do that. And so you feeding them is a security blanket in case you get a lot of rainy days in the spring. Then you know that your bees are not unable to get any nectar because you're feeding them. And I love to feed my bees from the top. Our Burns feeder board is one of the ways that you can really do that. Put this on top of your hive, and it comes with the lids, and you can screw your 1-to-1 sugar water right in there, put that on top of the hive, and then put another deep on top of this one with a top cover. And then you can change them out without getting stung because it's protected by screen. So that's a neat way that you can feed your bees in the spring. Good question. Hey, Gary, what's your opinion of Eco Wood as a hive protectant? It's a good product. A lot of beekeepers actually use it on their hive. Man, it's really good. I mean, it doesn't have harsh chemicals in it, and it does really get down into the wood to preserve it. And I think that it will last. I think one coat does it forever. Really do. I think it's a good product. No matter if you paint them or wax dip them or use this product or any other kind of polyurethane, always let your hives dry out for a couple of weeks before you put bees in it. That gets rid of all the fumes, all the nasties. So think about that. EL, what do you do with warped plastic frames? Oh, I pull my hair out. That's why my hair's thinner now. I've pulled it out over the years. I used to use a type of one frame plastic frame, and it was really frustrating. It looked a lot like the green drone comb. I mean, it didn't have any wood on the outside. It was all one piece plastic, frame and foundation, everything. And they warped pretty bad. So in the summer, it would get real hot, and the foundation, the plastic foundation would bow this way, or they would kind of be wavy. And when the bees draw the foundation out, the foundation bows out, or the foundation is wavy. And it's really a problem because you got a frame right here. If this one's bowed out, then it creates wonky comb. And it's just, you pull your hair out. So what I do, the best thing to do when you get frames that are warped like that, just get rid of them. Yeah, push them overboard. You can't straighten them up, and it's not worth the headache. I would just get rid of them. Amanda, can I do a split and move a hive at the same time? Yeah, you sure can. Also, do I need to move them 3 miles away if the new location has a hill and with trees and brush in front of it? It's only a few hundred yards away. Yeah, Amanda, that hill and those trees and that brush will not be enough. It's not. It's too far away. So the way to think about it is that when your bees leave your hive that you move to a new location, they'll go back to their old location unless you make the foragers take a new orientation flight. So let's say this is the bottom board entrance, then put something within inches of it. So a hill way over there or trees over there won't do anything, but right in front. So when the bees start to want to launch, they see, I put my golf cart there before, a folding lawn chair leaned up against the hive. So they can't really fly out the way they normally do, and it forces them to want to take a new orientation flight. That's what you're wanting to accomplish with that. Okay, Dino, can you recommend some books other than Beekeeping for Dummies for bee anatomy or just advanced knowledge of bees? Yes, I can. And this is a good time to do your homework on doing some bee reading. Look at this book. This is one that I've referred to a lot. It's a monster book. The Hive and the Honeybee. Dadant publishes it. I'm sure they still do, but I'm not positive. But I bought this, I think, 2008 or 9. And wow, this is a resource book. This is not a book that you want to sit in a hammock on a nice summer afternoon with some lemonade and just enjoy the reading. This is going to be a book you're going to sit down because you want to do a little bit of research on a particular aspect of beekeeping. But if you just kind of look through, you can see, right in through here. Look at the anatomy here. Do you see that? So there's just a whole section on bee anatomy like this. Look at that. Wow, there you go. Oh yeah. And it's not just written by one author. It's composed of many different scientists through the years. See that? Wow, isn't that awesome? Yeah, you found it, didn't you? This is the book right here. Now, this is just full. I mean, we go on and on. Data sheets, reports, studies. Again, this is your research book. This is the book you want to go to when you want to know something deeper on a subject of beekeeping. I'm giving you all my secrets. What made me smart in beekeeping? Look at the size of this bad boy. What is that? 3.5 inches thick? Wow, it's a huge book. But that's a good one. I'll see if I can leave a link in the description to this book. I'm hoping Dadant still sells it, but I'm sure somebody does. That's a good one. But there's others if that's not available. Another good one is this one I've referred to many times. The Biology of the Honeybee by Mark Winston. I do like this one. Somebody wrote in the front. Well, something else there. But, but you can see he does go into anatomy quite a bit. Man, look at that. That is crazy. Talking about the antennae, and then the head of the bee, some anatomy there. Here we go. You got the legs. To be a certified master beekeeper, this could be on the test. I don't write the written test. Dr. David Peck does that, but David Peck may put some questions about bee anatomy on the master beekeeper test. And I know 1 year on the test was the whole reproductive organ of the female of the queen. So you got to know all that. Here we go. Look at that. You got to know all these different names of every little part and piece. Yeah, so this is a good book anyway. I got carried away in bee anatomy. Mark Winston. I got this on Amazon. I'll leave a link. I'll do my best to leave a link. And of course, you got to love Dr. Dewey Karen. And I do appreciate Dewey. Dewey used to, several years ago, was the academic advisor for the EAS Master Beekeeper program. So I was able to work along with him and really appreciate him so much. Still do. But Dewey Karen, Honeybee Biology. And so this is a good book too. And I don't know, I have to ask Dewey, but it seems like over the years he's gathered up a lot of information, maybe from teaching in college on bees, colleges that he might have just pulled this over here because it is of that level. Here we go, Honeybee Biology, Chapter 5. And yeah, look at that. There we go. There's some biology. You see the head, and you got, there you got legs. You can get in that. You got bee. Look at that. Bee. Somebody wrote something on there. Oh, yeah. Look at that. So anyway, this is a good book too. Very thorough. Dewey Karen's Honeybee Biology. And I know this has been updated and revised, so I know this is still in print as well. So these are some good books that you can get. So hope that helps out. Maybe it helps out all of you. Great time to learn about bees before we get into the spring. All right, our next question is, will you share the data from your survey about colony loss with us at some point? Absolutely. I'm already getting a lot of numbers. We have hundreds of responses from our viewers. Again, if you haven't taken the survey, you can do it anonymously. You can do it privately. You don't have to expose who you are if that bothers you. But it just gives us an idea of where you're located, what your losses, success was. So that'd be good. I'll leave a link in this description of the video for that too. Yeah, I'll be sharing the data. Harry Hopkins, David, I'm getting ready to re-wax my frames. What's the best applicator to use with hot wax? Now, before I answer Harry's question about waxing those frames up, Bobblehead David is here on duty to tell you guys to please subscribe. He's standing there in his bee suit. This is not an astronaut suit. This is a smaller version of me in a bee suit in the bee yard, asking you guys to please subscribe. And by the way, look at this little bee thing here. This is so great. I've left a link in the description below if you want to buy one of these. These things are good teaching tools. Now let's get back to answer Harry's question. What's the best way to wax those frames? By far, I love the applicator of a 3-inch wide roller. You can buy them at like Dollar General stores. They're pretty inexpensive. And if you haven't seen my video where I did the red wax experiment to determine how much of the wax that we give to bees by coating their frames, how much of it they actually use, which, spoiler alert, all of it, then you need to watch that video. But in that video, I used a 3-inch roller and just dipped it in hot wax that's starting to get a little tacky. Not too hot, you'll burn your foundation, but roll it on there. Yeah. Try to leave links to that video in the description too. That makes my work harder. All right. And it tests my memory too. Jason, do you like Russian bees? I like Russian bees. I like all bees. Yeah. Every bee there is, I like a bee. All right. And I like native pollinators. I even like spiders and flies and mosquitoes. But do I like them? Would I run them? I have used Russian bees in my operation before, trying them out. And it depends on where you get them from, what source. There's, I guess, a really good source. And I don't think I got mine from the really good source. But the Russian bee claims to have a little bit better genetics in fighting away mites, being a little more mite resistant. Mine swarmed a little bit more, and they were a bit more defensive. But yeah, that's not a genetic type of bee that I'm pursuing right now. I have heard of a new pest that we may have to deal with, Tropolalaps. It's a mite. Would a frequent acyclic vapor treatment work, or is another solution for them? That's a very good question. Yeah, Tropolalaps is not in the U.S. It is a smaller mite than the varroa destructor mite, and it is different. We're not used to it. It's going to be bad news when it gets here. Now, if it's true that our bees face a new calamity every 20 years, maybe 20 years from this year will be when they finally make it on our shores. I hope not. But no, acyclic vapor won't work very well for them because they are found more in the cappings. They spend more time under the capped cells than the varroa destructor does. And so acyclic vapor doesn't penetrate the capped cells. So we're going to have to find a different tool than OA vapor, I believe. Charlie, I lost all 6 of my hives this season. Can I leave the boxes the way they are and just add new bees to all of them? Hey, Charlie, so sorry to hear about all 6 losses. Glad to hear that you're already figuring out a way to get going in the spring. Yeah, Charlie, if you want to, you can throw new bees in those boxes. However, I personally have found that it's better to go back to as if you're installing a new set of bees in new equipment. I wouldn't install my package into 2 deeps with a super on it. That's way too much space for everything. So in other words, small hive beetle could have more room to hide from the bees that may be more in one area. I would start with 1 deep box, let them fill out with wax and resources 5 to 7 frames before you add the second deep, before you add the next super. So I would cut them back and store your boxes safely and add them as they grow. Yeah. Hey, Jennifer, we had a very aggressive hive this past year and want to fix that. Yeah, me too. We're thinking we should requeen. Should that be done as soon as the nectar flow starts? We are in Long Island. Okay. Yeah, you know, you don't have to do it at a certain time. I would say coming out of winter, it's possible that your hive may be at its smallest number. So it might be easier to work and go in there and find your queen and fire her, lay her off or something so you can put a new queen in there. That might be the time to do it. But you're going to have to find the queen. Don't kill that queen until you have one on hand to replace her. So take the aggressive queen out, wait 24 hours, put the new queen in. The reason we do that, for those of you that are new to beekeeping, is because her progeny, her offspring, are going to be dying off pretty quickly. And so with a new queen laying new eggs, within 40 days, you got a whole new group, a whole new personality comes alive in your hive. Joshua, would you recommend propolis encouraging wooden boxes or Apiary insulated hives for a beginner? It doesn't matter. I know, Joshua, that we're thinking that it's going to make a difference, but it really doesn't. No, it doesn't make any difference to your bees at all, whether they're in an Apiary hive, a wooden hive, a propolis encouraging wooden box. I know some of you, I made videos and did work over a decade ago of adding propolis to your deep boxes for helping the bees' immune system. I wrote articles about that a decade ago. That's not a new concept, although companies now are getting on board. But anyway, bees are going to propolize the inside of their boxes by themselves. They really will. If you go out there and look at your boxes after 2-3 years, they've propolized their woodenware inside there, the frames and the wood. So you can pay extra for it if you want to. I'm not sure if that's going to really be an advantage, so they're going to do it anyway. So I wouldn't try to chase down the perfect hive. I would want you to become the perfect beekeeper. Not really perfect, but I want you to read those books and know enough about bees that you can keep bees no matter what kind of box they're in. Yeah! Woo! Absolutely. Hey, Scott, have you played with any of the hive monitoring technologies like Broodminder? Yes, I have. Mr. Broodminder has been here on the property, and I've tested out the weighing of my bees and the temperatures and all. Yeah, it's a good product if you like playing with, if you're a geek and you like playing with numbers and all that. It can tell you stuff about your hive. If you got a lot of hive, it gets expensive to put that kind of monitoring stuff on a lot of hives. That's why most people don't do it. They have a lot of hives. It might do 1 or 2 hives. And but it doesn't know, just monitoring 1 or 2 doesn't really say they're all doing that. All right. Gary, what's your top 3 coffees? Favorite brewing method? I used to love a French press. That was my favorite brewing method for a while. That's not too bad of what I love the most. But right now I'm using I don't know what it's called, but it's got I think I showed it in a recent video, but it's got a strainer and you pour hot water over the grind up coffee beans. I like to grind up, and it just goes through this stainless steel strainer into a container where I pour it into my coffee, whatever that's called. I like doing it that way now. I don't like drip coffee that you see at when you're waiting for your car to be repaired or you're at a hotel or something. Most hotels use Keurig, and Keurig coffee isn't my favorite flavored coffee at all, the way it's kind of processed through those little packets and all. My 3 types of favorite coffee, by far, I would say Ethiopian Yirgacheffe coffee. When I say, Yirgacheffe, I would say that is definitely my most favorite coffee, and I've tried them all. Trust me. I have liked Yemen coffee beans from Yemen. I get green coffee beans and roast them myself. And I can't get Yemen coffee beans anymore. Yeah, I think it's fine to try all the different kinds and find out which one. They all have a little different flavor. Now, some people don't really care what they taste like. A lot of people are raised on your typical Folgers, Maxwell House, electric drip coffee. And if they tried anything other than that, they think it tastes terrible. They think, oh, I got to have my Folgers or Maxwell House coffee through a drip machine. You know, my mom and dad used a percolator. Remember that old percolator? I used to watch that percolate. Is seaweed really beneficial to bees? It's now showing up in feeding supplements. I think seaweed surely has some microbial benefit to honeybees, but I don't know that for sure. I do know that we are really drawn to things like this. We really are. As people, as humans, when we see things, you know, in fact, I am kind of a health nut and have been more in the past because I used to be a runner and a bike racer and, you know, you keeping your body in top shape and all. And I used to eat pollen before I was a beekeeper, for energy and all when I was a runner. But I would say we are really prone to believe everything that's thrown at us. I mean, I know a lot of people that add stuff to their water. Like water isn't good enough anymore. You've got to add something to your water to make you more healthier. Water's pretty good. I mean, there's a reason that we're kind of made to drink water, right? But if you add something to it, oh my gosh, my life is so different. I mean, that might mean that you're not eating right or something. If you're not getting your normal minerals and vitamins through your food and you have to add something or take pills to supplement it, you know, I don't know. I'm not a real big person to believe in all that stuff. I'm sure that it works, but seaweed helping bees, their gut, it probably does show some evidence that it might. But remember, how long does a bee live? A little over a month. We live over, you know, the average age of people are in the 70s. So we're hoping to eat good so we can live to be 80 or 90. So we can have another 10 years of extended life, you know. But a honeybee only lives 40 days. I don't think seaweed's going to make the difference. Oh, I got one more day out of my life. Instead of living 45 days as a honeybee, my grandpa lived to be 46 days old. You know, he lived a whole day because of that seaweed. I don't know. But maybe it makes them healthier. Maybe it builds up their immune system. I think we're kind of like on the fence. That needs to be proven and shown to me. I'm not against it, but I'm just not crazy about doing it. Okay. Harrison, can I just assume, oh, this was what I started the video with. Can I just assume my hive has mites and treat without testing? You can, and if that's the only thing that you've determined to do that, please. But on the other hand, a better way is to first test for mites, and if your test shows that you have more than 3 mites per 100 bees, treat for mites, and then wait a week or two, and then test to see if the treatment worked. That way, you know if you have them, you choose the treatment that will destroy them. This is important too. If you have just a little bit, you might choose a different treatment. If you have a whole lot of mites, you might use a different treatment to blast kill the mites. And then you have to test again to make sure that this number is a lot less than that number using this treatment. I don't know. It just this makes sense to me. Because if you don't want to test and you just treat, you don't know if you had mites and you don't know how many you had and you don't know if the treatment did anything. Yeah, a little worried about that. Raphael, David, is it possible for a worker bee to move an egg into a new queen cup? A lot of debate on that. I'm going to say yes, it's possible. It's very rare. I don't think it happens as much as we think, but sure, it's possible. Can you just stain your boxes? What are the pros and cons of this versus paint? Not a big difference. Some of your stains may have more, I guess, harsher chemicals in them, but paint does too. So like I said earlier, just a few minutes ago, make sure you just air it out a couple of weeks before you put bees in it. It'll be fine. Do you like DFM? Is that somebody that we know? That's the initials of somebody that we know? No, that's direct feed of microorganisms, like probiotics and such. And these, I guess, are debatable. Right now, there are those that on one side of the fence that say this really helps the gut microbes in the gut of the honeybees. Others are like, yeah, probably not. Again, if anything gives bees an edge, boosts their immune system against pathogens or pesticides or anything, it can't be bad. I like to eat them myself occasionally. I get people give them to me at conferences. Hey, David, have you tried our new DFM? Here, this is like a candy bar. Lay it on the top bar. I eat it like a candy bar. You know, look at me now. We had a few new people on our live stream that became new members. Thank you, guys. Dawn and Scott, new members of the live stream. No, I'm sorry, new members of my YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel has a membership, and every now and again, I have a live stream just for my membership. It's a smaller group. We can get more intimate, talk about bees together. And at the bottom of every video, you'll see a join button. You can become a Nectar Novice or a Beak Squad Ambassador. This is a way, basically, don't expect a lot of stuff from me if you become a member. This is more of your way of just supporting me in my efforts here. So I do appreciate that. I do try to do some stuff for you, though. Going to make a video for you guys soon. Could you rank queens by breeding or by breed according to their physical size? I was warned not to purchase a certain breed because the queen could fit through the excluder. Interesting. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, biologically, that doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. Apis mellifera, and they're from different areas. So you may have Apis mellifera ligustica, the Italian honeybee. So there's still Apis mellifera, and honeybees can be a little bit different in size, just like people are different in size a little bit. But the queen thorax, a lot of work went in to determine her thorax width. And whether or not she can wiggle through that, I'm going to give that a big no. I don't think it matters what type or what breed of queen it is. She would have to be pretty doggone small to fit through a queen excluder. I'd like to know which breed of queen would go through a queen excluder. I had a small one last year that I was doing some video work with. And you remember that video. She almost made it through there. Oh boy, she's sideways now. Oh gosh, she's half out. Oh boy. All right, well, I'm going to pull it down. See if I can coerce her back down in there. But her abdomen made it through, but not her thorax. So I'm going to say, no, you can't rank queens by their size. But the size is not based on the breed, I don't believe. The size is going to be based on how well they're fed as a larvae, a little bit of genetics, but you're not going to be able to say, okay, here's an Italian. I think here's the deal. I think if you had and this is hard to do, but let's say you had all Italian honeybee queens, right? I think if you measured them, they're going to be measured out slightly, tiny bit different between each queen. I really do. I see drones different size. I see honeybees different sizes in the same colony. I don't think it's a breed thing. Yeah, don't think so. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. There's always so many questions you guys are asking me. I really do appreciate you joining me for this Saturday on question and answer time. Really do. And be sure and join me for my live stream every Thursday night. I love how we're growing such a wonderful beekeeping community. The camaraderie between beekeepers, chatting together, the giveaways, the teachings that I give every Thursday night. And I really am so grateful for Robbie and Sherry and Jessica that work as my team of carrying out the live stream, making it work every Thursday night. Great group of people all around. So be sure and do join me every Thursday night where you can get your question answered. You can depend on it. I hope I'm a trusted source for you and the questions that you have. I am an EAS certified master beekeeper. I got certified in 2010 with the Eastern Apicultural Society of North America. And I work hard for you guys. I'm always out publishing videos, helping you guys keep healthier bees and make fewer mistakes. And I love being in my new studio out here. It's a lot of fun. It's easier for me to make videos here for sure. So appreciate you watching. I love you guys. And I really appreciate you so much. Be sure and watch this video. If you didn't get a chance to see it, it was from the live stream the other night where I talked about, I wish somebody would have told me all these things before I started. check that video out right here. I'll see you guys over there.